I was studying agriculture, and I think influenced by this hippie phase, I decided it was time for a gap year. So I borrowed 65 pounds from my sister, flew to Nairobi, and I hitchhiked down to Basutoland, as it was then, now Lesotho, and got a job trekking through the mountains as a tourist guide. And I kept on meeting farmers every day as I went. And then I earned some money, and I hitchhiked back to England. And I traveled all the way through Kenya. And when I got to Eritrea, I had what I think is an epiphany. I'm not absolutely sure what that is, but it was a kind of revelation that all of the people I'd met on the road, the truck drivers who'd given me lifts, the people I'd met whilst I was waiting on the side of the road, the farmers, it wasn't that they didn't have the capacity to improve their farming. It wasn't because they didn't have the energy, or as we were saying earlier, the levels of intelligence, or anything like that. It was nothing to do with that. It's just that they'd never received the information. So people were spreading maize in the fields rather than planting it in rows. And I'm not quite sure when we started in the Western world planting our crops in rows, but it really does improve your production. And I changed my mind. I went back to England. I said, I'm not doing agriculture anymore. I'm going into media. And I'm going to look at the way perhaps we can reach farmers and help these people to understand this. So I'm going to talk later on about the programs that you see here, Makutano Junction. Has anyone here seen Makutano Junction? A few. What about KnowZone? Not bad. What about Shamba Shape Up? Yes. I think most people have seen Shamba Shape Up. This is 35 years later on. This is where we are. And I want to go, again, back in time a little bit. When I came out to Kenya, I was so lucky. My job was to look at the way media could help rural people improve their livelihoods. I don't know who wrote that job description. I think I should, maybe I did it in a dream somewhere. I don't know, but it was perfect for me. That's what I wanted to do. And I came out, and I worked with the Ministry of Agriculture. We built the Agriculture Information Center. We did all sorts of stuff. We stabilized the existing amount of information in Kenya into technical reference handbooks, because there were 5,000 extension workers at that time, and everyone had come from different colleges and different places, and the result was that everybody was more or less telling everybody whatever they thought they ought to be told. And so we got together a really good team of scientists and extension and field staff, and we put all that information together and handed it to the 5,000 extension workers. So at least they were coming from a base of good information. We looked at mobile cinema vans we got going. We had to actually fold that after a couple of years because they were actually being used for transporting charcoal back down from around Mount Kenya to Nairobi. So that we had that one didn't work. But the one thing we really looked at was radio. At that time, radio was owned by the government. And so we were given an hour twice a week to do radio programs. And we started off with incredibly top-down didactic stuff. It was, when I listen to it now, it's embarrassing. And I pity the poor farmers who had to sit through the evening, because also we told the broadcast station we're going prime time. Well, things changed because it was the Voice of Kenya then. Some people may remember that. It's now then became the Kenya Broadcast Corporation, and it was monetized. You had to pay. At that point, we realized that our audience wasn't big. People weren't learning very much. So we thought, what can we do? And we decided, let's do a drama. Let's do a soap. And we did. On the radio, what we did was we got a drama. We were in a village. We talked about the loves and lives of the people. That was the entertainment factor, to bring in big audiences. And we talked about agriculture. It was said, we were at 8 p.m. on Sunday evening, the prime time on radio. It was said that if you wanted to have an affair in Kenya, the best time was 8 p.m. on Sunday evening. Everyone was at home, and they were listening to the radio. They wouldn't be out in the street and catch you moving from one house to another. The other interesting thing that happened at that time was that one of our actors our radio actors had to go to Makerere University in Uganda, and we had to kill him off. And he was really one of the stars of the shows. We couldn't do anything else. So he died in the drama. And you know, we got so many letters of condolence about this that it was actually really frightening. And we even had some people send us money for the funeral arrangements. So we realized we were really making an impact. And that was good. The trouble is, the soap ran from 1990 up until 2004, so really a long time. In 1998, we had 8 million listeners, the biggest audience of KBC in Kenya. By 2000, we'd dropped. We'd gone to about 6 million. 2002, we were down to 4. By 2004, we only had 2.4 million people listening to our radio program. And there were 3 or 4 reasons. One of the reasons was that the government had controlled KBC. Swahili program reached the whole of the country. There were no other radio programs. There was an English version of KBC, and there were some vernacular stations. But they used that to control the audience. And as you remember, every program more or less started with, "Today, Daniel Arap Moi said." And it was a way of politically controlling the country. With pressure from within the country and pressure from outside and all around, and the changes in the way radio is being used, FM radios began to be licensed. And we went from that 1 or 2 main stations. Today we have 180 FM stations in Kenya. So our radio audience got fragmented. It broke down. We've got all the vernacular radio stations. We've got swamp radio, we've got ghetto radio, we've got religious radio, international radio. If you want to reach an audience of 8 million, you'd probably have to go on about 12 different radio stations in 4 languages today. So that was no good. The other thing was that, as time was moving on, the kind of radio program that was happening, because those FMs are commercial and they get their money from selling advertising space at prime time, they weren't going to take an educational program, even if it was entertaining and a soap. We tried to sell it. It wouldn't go. And instead, what they have is music, advert, and then SMS in how to catch a handsome man. Or, how do you know your lover's got a lover? And that's the kind of thing that's going on. And that's the level of education you can achieve at prime time. You can't have a half-hour drama program go out there. So we couldn't go any longer with our program. And then we looked at television, a huge growth in television, absolutely remarkable. We were so surprised. I always say television, no, that doesn't reach rural people. And people still today say that. It's just not true. The Great Wall of China, black and white TV set, $50, the cost of a good goat, you could get. And the interesting thing about it was you could plug it into the electrics or you could connect it to a battery. Now, if you drive around Mount Kenya, if you go up towards Embu and Meru in the mountains here, have you noticed that all the matatus are parked about 100 yards up the road facing downhill? Why? Because at night, the matatu driver comes home, turns his car, faces it downhill, takes the battery out, goes and watches television, comes back, puts it in, and basically bump starts it down the hill and goes and does his day's trade. And you'll see that with so many vehicles. You can see it here at Karen Roundabout, on the hill going out on the Dagoretti Road. So that is what 45% of Kenyans had one of those TVs. And so we changed our thinking to television. Let's go to television. So there we are. And if we're going to go to television, let's do the same thing in a drama, and we went to Makutano Junction. That was a drama set. Makutano, I think you all know, is where a rural road meets the main road. It's that junction. It's the meeting place junction. And for us, that is where the rural TV audience lives. Why? Because the electricity runs down the main road. And that gives us a massive new audience. It also connects us to the agricultural sector and the rural sector, and the power runs out from there. So Makutano Junction has around about a 6 million audience. We go on for 6 months in the year, and it's been hugely successful. Some of the kinds of changes that we've done, and this is in the agricultural waste sector that I want to bring this in now. One of the issues that we found amongst farmers and the dairy industry, because we cover agricultural issues in Makutano Junction. We cover health issues and all sorts of issues. But here's an example of an agricultural and a waste issue. Milk containers. Do you see on the side of this chap's motorbike, he's got those plastic containers? And some of them have got hollow handles on the top of them. And the bacteria likes to live up in there. And you can't wash up in there. So what happens? The guy gets his milk from his cow into a bucket, pours it through a funnel into this, and goes down to hand it to the guy. Well, if there's a delay from the evening milk to the morning milk, it's already going off. The guy says, no, I don't want your milk. And why? Because he's got bacteria and it's already going off. So we ran a program to say, look, this is not a good idea. Use the aluminium can. There was a very good picture of one in Herbert's presentation. I think you saw it with the milk in it. One of those aluminium cans, or use a glass bottle, or something that you can definitely wash out. 33% of the people who we researched after the program had decided that that was the kind of container they would have. So there's a very, very simple kind of change you can make, and it relates to the subject. We thought it would be about agriculture. We were taken over. First of all, for a long period, it was around HIV, AIDS, and malaria. That's what people wanted to know about. And our model now became, let's entertain people, let's meet their information needs, we can build big audiences. And that's our model. And so we had to kind of, we left the agricultural a bit to the side, and then it changed again when free primary education came around. We had a problem. Everybody was wondering what had happened. So many new children into school, levels of education going down, a lot of concern about education. We tackled issues in that area. We've now come back to agriculture. There are issues of food security in this country and so on. Another program we did on Makutano Junction was getting women banked. It's one of our real interests is financial inclusion, getting people to bank if they can, getting people not to hide their money under their bed, but to actually get involved in banking. This time we took a different approach, and this was last year. We worked with the banks. We worked with Equity, Family Bank, and Kenya Women's Finance Trust. And in the drama, the bank manager was walking past the market women. They're the stars of our show. And he said, come on, ladies, come and get banked. You're doing so well these days selling your product. We need you to come and bank. They said, you in your smart suit. What do you think you're doing? Where do you put it? We don't know. We can't find it. We can't count it when we need it. We are keeping it. I'm going to keep it under my bed. And the other lady says, what? You keep it under your bed? Anyway, he goes back to the bank in the drama, and he meets this very attractive young lady who's the new tea lady who's going to have an affair with something, but we don't need to go into that. But what happens is that the lady says, you did it completely wrong, Bwana. What you need to do is invite them all for a cup of tea and make an event. They'll all come dressed up, and they'll all get banked. So he puts up outside his bank, Nawiri Dada, which is Grow Sisters. And he puts it up there, and the next day on the equity banks and the family banks and the other banks, the same sign went up, put up by the banks working with us. We got 136,000 women banked in 3 months. That is a really good achievement. And we work with the Women's World Bank to do that. Now, looking at Makutano Junction, we have 6 million viewers, and we discovered in our research that 70% of them were rural. So how do we do that? Meet information needs, entertain, and meet those rural audiences' needs. Looking at the world of television, you see drama is the top, no doubt about it. But if you look at those dramas, it's ER, it's health, isn't it? I can't remember, there are a whole range of them. House, there are all sorts of, and why do we watch those? Because we like there's a bit of education in there too. There's legal ones, we love the legal ones, we love the police ones. They have got issues and stories as well as entertainment. And then the next type of program that has become popular, maybe not to all of us, is the reality show. So we decided we need a rural reality show, and we started Shamba Shape Up. And that is a makeover on small farms. We go into small farms, we have a look at it, and we say, my gosh, Bwana, is your cow all right? And how much maize did you get there? We've got very good presenters from Makutano, Tony and Jaguna, and Maman Boga, if you know her. They are the presenters, and here they are.
We have been traveling the rich lands of East Africa, far and wide, across the highlands and lowlands of this beautiful region, talking to farmers wherever we go.
We have given them the help and knowledge they need to improve their farming methods,
increase their income, and turn their farms into good business for the future.
Join us and our experts on this journey across East Africa and share the families' experiences as they make these changes.
Karibu to the Shamba Shape Up Safari.
And it works incredibly well. It really does. We've had dramatic results. We don't only do that on Shamba Shape Up. We also say, if you want a leaflet from us, SMS us, and we'll send you a leaflet. If you want to ask us a question, SMS us. And what happens then is that, as you can see from this, 2,000 leaflets, 100,000 leaflets sent out, 125 farmers are now on our database. We know more or less what subjects they're interested in. We know where they live. We've built farmer groups. We've said, we put up under the TV program whilst it's running, do you want to join the potato group? And 5,000 farmers very quickly came on. We then linked them with buyers of seed potatoes from Kasima, a new type, which doesn't get blight so easily, and is really good. So, that's the way that kind of thing works. So what we can do with that is we can map where these people are living. We can send answers back to them. And the square on the left respond directly. We need technical expertise. So what we do is we send it up to a platform and tell Syngenta or the research station or whoever the partners are, we've got a question, or Kenchik, because we've got a question, where do I get broiler chickens from? Chicks to breed to grow up to be chicken for sale. And the guy types in a little square, which is the size of a mobile phone thing, presses send, it comes back through our system and back to the farmer. So we're sending information out. We also use this to do research, because remember, we want to know what their information needs are, and we want to entertain them. So we can send out to all of those people at just the mail and a return mail a questionnaire. And we do that on particular subjects, on different things. And we say to them, if you get this back to us by such and such a date, filled out completely, we'll M-Pesa you 50 bob. And so that's 50 bob for a questionnaire to a whole lot of very targeted people we need to talk to. Really useful. So we've been able to really build the program. I hope you can see this. But we've been successful. I knew you thought we might be, but we have been. There's no doubt about it. If you look at this chart, running along the bottom of the chart are the times. So do you see the 3 stars of Shamba Shape Up? That's 1:30 on a Sunday afternoon, usually pretty dead time. We've tented it. The TV station loves us for that. We've pulled the figure up to 16% of a 14 million audience on Sunday afternoon. Now, you look at the colored ones at the bottom. That's NTV, KTN, and KBC. We are at that time double their prime time audience on a Sunday afternoon. That's success, I call. And then if you go to Makutano, the drama at prime time, we whip it up again. They love it. And by the way, on Sunday afternoon, the reason they love this, do you see how long that graph takes to gradually trickle down? You know why? Because Granny's there, Auntie's visiting, Uncle's there. No one dares suggest which station to change to. So we stick on that one. Let's keep going with that one. And we're really proud of that. We've done some research just recently. We interviewed 13,000 farmers in Kenya, randomly selected, a really hard piece of research with Reading University and with Wageningen University and some senior people. I think it's one of the biggest media effect researchers done in Kenya for a very long time. We took 430,000 households were found to have made a change directly as a result of watching Shamba Shape Up. And with dairy farmers, and we chose dairy because it's easy to measure how much milk you're sending out because people keep records, whereas with maize and other, we had over $20 million worth of increased milk, which could be directly attributed to Shamba Shape Up. That, I think, is really good. Now, where are we going? We've got to keep reaching people, and the mobile phone is the way we want to go now. There's been a 45% increase in the use of internet over the last 2 or 3 years, and all of that is with mobile phones, basically. I think you may have seen the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday, we've gone 4G. Now, we've got all the clips of our program, and we're currently working on taking them down into chickens, housing, broilers, and you can go to our website, you will be able to, by probably around about March of next year, and download those short clips on your phone. So if you're illiterate, and you're a woman farmer, and you're illiterate, and you want to know, I saw that program, what can I do? This is where we're going. And you can SMS us. We're developing an SMS, a bigger SMS, and a call center. And we're going to have it's called IVR, I think. Gosh, I can't remember what it stands for. But anyway, you all know what it is, and you don't actually like them very much. When you call someone up and they say, hello, would you like to watch listen to the whole of the last program? Press 1. Would you like to just listen to the chickens bit? Press 2. We're going to have something a little better than that, but it'll be an automatic response. So you can phone in and ask those questions if you want to do that. But where we really want to go, and this is the big dream, if any of you, when you leave here, Google Africa Knowledge Zone, which will eventually become AKZ TV. All of our programming is now up on a Google Premier channel, held on YouTube. And you can access all of our programming, Makutano Junction, the KnowZone, and Shamba Shape Up. But what we want to see is a channel, a TV channel. It can run in real time, digital channel. It can be on different bouquets, on different satellite-provided bouquets that you buy into. It can be digital, free to view, and it's edutainment. It's during the morning we're doing KnowZone for primary school children, which we have done, as you know, the KnowZone viewers. We do Standard 2, Standard 4, Standard 6, 1 hour for each, every week, revising what you should have learned that week. Then you could maybe at lunchtime see some Al Jazeera news, some documentaries. You're working with the Pearson's group and Mindset. We go to secondary school in the afternoon. Again, we're doing stuff on Wild Zone and planning to do more with equity there. Then Shamba Shape Up comes on in the evening at a prime time. Hey, we're in charge. We can have prime time for our programming. And Makutano Junction, the drama comes on. Soul City, maybe from the Institute. Television for the Environment. I don't know, Citizen, they may be partners. We can run a TV station. But what's really going to work is you can download that at any time. Video on demand. That's the future. That's what we're all doing. And with 4G, we're going to be able to do it now in Kenya. So you can download whatever you want, whenever you want it. But for schools or places where they can't do that, we can provide it. And then I imagine a solar-powered PowerPoint-type projector with a bit of a memory, and you can load it in. And then, because when you run real-time on TV, you could only show it to one class. But you hold it, and during the week, you can show it to all different classes that you need to. So that's the big dream, and I hope we make it. I'd like to thank you all very much for listening to me. Thank you.